One thing that you do really well, and I only know this because my team reports it back to me, is that you work your leads very methodically because we see your sheet. Can you walk agents through? You touched on calling time. So for those who didn't hear, he was saying the morning, early, their local time, and then late afternoons into the evenings. But can you walk us through like your process? Are you triple dialing? Are you double dialing? What, when you say early, like are we talking 8 a.m. around the dot? Just like super detailed for an agent that's like, Christian, can you just give me like make it super simple, like I'm 2 years old. Like, what exactly are you doing for contact rate, bro?
Of course. So I double dial. I don't like triple dialing. I feel like it's just, yeah, I don't know. It doesn't sit with me well. I feel like it leads to spam likely a lot more profusely. I use Wave. I don't know. It's integrated into the CRM, so I really do love it. But as early as possible, so around 8 to 10, just depending on the time zone. So like East Coast, I can't hit them that late. But definitely, I do prefer the double dial. I feel like if they're not picking up the first time, second time, and then I try to hit them at least 2 times a day. So either morning twice, evening twice, just trying to get as much activity on them as possible, as soon as possible as well.
Yeah. For an agent that says, well, I'm doing the drip campaign similar to how you are, the leads are piling up. How far back do you go? Like, would you go all the way back to your first leads when you're working your leads, or do
Oh
you
yeah,
work them like in that order, or what's your process for that?
I'd say of course hit the fresh as possible, hit them first, and then I have another campaign just for people who never contacted. So that's
Hmm.
everyone from say about like a week ago to all the way to the very first one. And you never know. Sometimes you just need to get that one client, never picked up the phone the other 50 times you dialed them, just the one time you pick up, and it's a one call close. It's really amazing.
Yeah, no, that's dope, bro. That's dope. I mean, that's literally been for those of you that don't know him in the way that I do, or at least from a sales standpoint. But this dude really does work. He's kind of being modest, but he works his leads really well. And one of the biggest things that I hear, as you said, is an objection on the lead side is, man, these people don't pick up. And what you said is so true. It's like, when are you calling them, right? And then most people are like, well, I just try to call them. Like, if you call them when it's convenient for you, you're not going to have nearly as much success. For the person that says, Christian, why do you do it over the phone and not on Zoom? What do you say?
I feel like I look pretty young. I have a lot of tattoos, so I was just like, I don't want to lose any credibility for doing it via virtual. But I mean, of course, if someone wants to throw on a polo, I'll throw on a nice little suit, look good for them, and then I'll hop on a Zoom. But most clients, I've only had maybe one or two requests a Zoom call, and then they never really fall through. But I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to it.
Yeah. So it's just a simpler process for you. Another question that I get that I want to hear your response to. How do you do the illustration? How do you paint the picture for the client without being able to share your screen? What's your response to that? Or how do you do that is my question.
So there's screen sharing services out there. So you can use like Crank Wheel. That's a free one, of course. I really love it. But a lot of people, you could really just touch base with them. But if they are looking at illustrations and if it is a cash value focused one, of course, I'll Crank Wheel it. I'll show an F&G illustration. I'll throw like WinFlex, Americo, just some of those simplified ones. And you can see the illustrations. You can build it to how you want and make sure that it fits the client's needs, of course.
Gotcha. And you do that on the phone with them, or do you
Yeah.
send? Okay, so you do it on the phone with them. Perfect, perfect. I think that's super cool. I personally prefer doing everything over phone calls because it makes you have to use your words to paint pictures clear.
Yeah.
Versus when you're on Zoom, you can kind of like, well, I'll just share my screen, and it's like, okay, but if you have to actually explain it to them, that also will reduce the number of chargebacks and stuff you get because they actually understand what it is rather than just looking at a screen and they're like, yeah, this is how much you get in and how much you put in, how much you get out, right?